us, from ahadiyya to wahidiyya in the, at the individual level and the whole holistic approach. We have this whole unity, but there's no evidence out there for multiplicity, for division, for, believing in multiple forces. But it's all about, unity, oneness, togetherness of the universe.
Yeah, I know people will say, okay, so you have a factory of like 300 workers and they're producing a single car. Yes, but they're working from one plan. It's like one person with two hands. Okay, imagine one person with 100 hands. It's still one person. The blueprint for the car is still one blueprint drawn up by one designer. And they're all working to the same, to exactly the same laws and the same rules. It doesn't mean that they're creating anything. They're just putting parts together, that's all. So however you cut it, it's impossible to prove multiple gods, because first of all, a god has to be absolute. To create an atom, you have to be able to create the whole universe. And to do that, you have to be absolute. So how can you have multiple absolute gods? It's impossible. So it's just ridiculous. But if we didn't have Wahid, the name Al-Wahid, it would be difficult to argue for that, I think.
Thank you. Muhammad Abi, a few words before we go to the next slide.
No, alhamdulillah, we can continue.
Second stem. Through the manifestation of the name of Fard, so brilliant a seal of divine oneness, Hadiyah, and stamp of unity has been placed on the face, Wahidiyya, has been placed on the face of the earth and face of the spring, that it proves that one who does not administer all the living creatures on the face of the globe, together with all their members and attributes and states, and who does not know and see them all together and cannot create them, cannot interfere in anything in respect of creation. Let me read it again. Through the manifestation of the name of Fard, so brilliant a seal of Ahadiyya and stamp of Wahidiyya has been placed on the face of the earth and face of the spring, that it proves that one who does not administer all the living creatures on the face of the globe, together with all their members and attributes and states, and who does not know and see them all together, cannot create them, cannot interfere in anything in respect of creation. The stamp is this. Disregarding the truly orderly yet hidden stamps of the mineral substances, the elements, and inanimate creatures of the earth, consider the following stem consisting of the woven threads of the 200,000 animal species and 200,000 plant species. We see with our own eyes in the spring on the earth that all things with their different duties, different forms, different sustenance, different members are given everything they need without confusion and without error, with complete distinction and differentiation, with extremely sensitive balance, without difficulty. At exactly the right time, from unexpected places, despite there being one within the other and all mixed up together. This situation, this planning, this administration forms such a seal of divine unity and stamp of oneness that
We lost you.
rububiyyah and creation.
We lost your voice then.
We cannot hear you.
Had interfered the equilibrium of that otherly vast administration would have been spoiled However, man apparently serves the smooth application of those laws of dominicality at the divine command. Okay. Muhammad Abi, a few words on Ahadiyya. Would you like to step in?
Yeah, I mean, in here we start talk about spring, like we are kind of close to winter, so many insects are not around, but we sure that when next summer comes, they will all brought back, and their sustenance and everything according to their body, Allah will create them. Uh, and what I was going to say, Ustad gives example of seed, right? If you have a handful of seed and put them into a pot, even different types of seed, and if you give some water, and they will come out based on their their seed, their sustenance, maybe their color and everything is going to be different, but Allah never mixed them at all. So He take care everything one by one. And also we know that there is a relationship between universe. Whoever does not create sun does not create a flower. Why? Because there is connection between those two. Whoever does not create a spring does not create an apple. Why? Because apple comes with the spring, right? So there is that interconnection. So a God who control everything can create a single little things.
Thank you. Colin Rajam, you wanna say a few words on?
No, I don't really have anything more to say. I think I've probably spoken too much anyway, but I've
Okay.
said all that I need to say about Ahad, actually.
Thank you. Yes, this I want to also make dua to Ustad that may Allah give him big reward, inshallah, for this field study of each chapter. So it helps me a lot. Otherwise it's so theoretical when we talk about this ahadiyya, wahadiyya, but now I'm thinking of my own little terms, that if I am taking care of a small garden, if I have like 4 or 5 types of plants, or let's say I have few pets at home, right, taking care of them, each one of them has different needs, different things they're asking for. Even if I have 2 boys or 2 girls at home, it completely could be completely different, so I need to be individually taking care of each one of them. So look at this universe, how many different types of animals, plants, even initially he mentioned about the non-living beings. So everything is taken care of together, but they have their unique individual needs. None of them is forgotten. All of them live in a same system, but with different duties, different needs, different forms, different shapes, everything with different sustenance. Everything is taken care of from one hand all together. Otherwise, none is forgotten, none is overcoming the others, all live together. Unless I apply it to my own little field study, it's really overwhelming when we look out there in the universe. But step by step, the sciences, the whole humanity is kind of believer or unbeliever. We work on this way. We explore, we study, and finally it's more and more apparent how the whole universe is, despite their uniqueness in each of them, they're taking care of together, they're working together, and the system works perfect despite all this uniqueness of all of them.
I think you made an excellent point there. If you consider a garden, if I look at my own garden, there is grass in the garden, there is a fig tree in the garden, there is a cherry tree in the garden, two different kinds of cherry tree, there is an apple tree, there's a pear tree, there are various animals in the garden, birds are there, there are worms under the soil, there is a hedgehog in our garden, sometimes rabbits come in there. When it rains on the whole of the garden in the same way. It's not prejudiced. It doesn't just rain on one part of the garden, it rains on the whole of the garden. So it rains on all of these different trees, it rains on the whole of the grass, the soil, and it rains on all of these animals, all of these different things. The rain is the same rain, the same amount of rain falling everywhere. But every single thing in that garden has a unique need for water and uses water in a different way to everything else. So when the rain comes to the fig tree will take only as much water as a fig tree needs. The same with the pears, the same with the cherries, the same with the animals. All of the animals and the plants in the garden will use that rain in a unique and singular way. So, as you pointed out, Baikar, this is a perfect understanding of Ahad, uniqueness, working within Wahid, which is this inclusive unity and exclusive unity working together, Ahad and Wahid. And the whole thing, wrap it up all together, and you have Allah's being Al-Fard, the one who is inclusively unique, has inclusive unity and exclusive unity. And I'm sure next week we'll go on to understand what Al-Fard actually means, maybe at a different, on a different level, in a different way. We'll see, inshallah.
So, I want to read a short remark in the chat part. Ahad, Wahid shine in terms of ultimate justice too. The fact a part is as important as a whole with respect to these two names particularly tells us that we cannot ignore any particular right for the society, community, country. So that was a remark by Brother Yunus. Yeah. Okay. We can go on the any further remarks on the second one, a stamp we then I'm going on the third one. Maybe I will have just time to read shortly. Third stamp. This stamp of divine oneness, when we say oneness, it's ahadiyya, is on man's face, indeed is man's face, one who does not hold in his gaze all the human beings who have come and will come from the time of Adam alayhi salam till the end of the world cannot place a distinguishing mark on each of their faces. Indeed, hundreds of distinguishing marks can have no part in respect of creation and the stamp of unity on the face of any single one of them. One who does not hold in his gaze all the human beings who have come and will come from the time of Adam till the end of the world cannot place a distinguishing mark on each of their faces. Indeed, hundreds of distinguishing marks like our fingerprints, our personalities, all of those unique distinguishing figures in a human being, can have no part in respect of creation in the stamp of unity on the face of any single one of them. Yes, the one who places that stamp on man's face must surely hold within his view and encompass with his knowledge all the members of the human race. For although the basic members of the human face resemble one another, each face possesses points of difference. All the members of the face, such as the eye and ear, resembling each other, forms a stamp of unity testifying that humankind's maker is one. Similarly, the many wise differences, unlike other species, distinguishing one from the other, so they are not confused, and to preserve the rights of all of them, are both subtle stamps of divine oneness, and denote the maker of unity's will, choice, and volition. They show that one who cannot create all men and animals, indeed, the universe cannot apply that stamp. Regarding the note in the chat that I just read before this third stamp, interesting, the Ustad talks about preserving the rights of all of them. So maybe not an absolute equality, but an absolute balance and equilibrium is much apparent in the universe, witnessed in the universe. Okay. We are almost at the end of our time. Before closing, any of our volunteers wants to add a few words, or Muhammad Abi, Koin Hocam?
No.
No, I think we can close here. I mean, but as you said, you know, to be able to create a fingerprint, you need to know all the other fingerprints so that you can create differently, right? So Allah creates our. We know that, you know, it's also used in the, you know, police are using those fingerprints to, you know, find out the guilty person. So even our pupil of eyes is different, right? Now there's no new technology. You can just use your uh, pupil of eyes. So they are also different. Million. I mean, now there's 7 billion people in the world, but we know that from Adam alayhi salam till the end of the time, they will all be different. Somebody who knows all of them can make different, right? Otherwise, it's impossible.
So we cannot go under the earth and hidden from him. Huh? We are taking care of individually, even though
Yeah, we have our fingerprints there, you know.
7 billion other people are out there. Right. Thank you so much for all joining us this week. Colin Hocam, you want to close by a short dua, inshallah?
Yes, praise be to Allah. Allah, you are the one who gives us knowledge. There is no knowledge apart from that which you have taught us. For you are the all-knowing, the all-wise. Al-Fatiha.
Allahumma
Many thanks, inshallah. See you next week.
Thank you for joining. Next week, inshallah, we'll continue with Al-Fard, starting again from the third stamp, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.